I was jogging with light steps through the misty streets of Greenwich. The gentle spring sunlight softly illuminated the new buds on the maple trees. It had been 6 years since I started living in this upscale neighborhood. Now, this morning jog had become an important part of my daily routine. As I ran through Bruce Park, weaving between the trees, I savored the happiness of my current life. As a luxury real estate agent earning $150,000 a year, having met an ideal second husband, and living with my brilliant daughter, my life was enviable by anyone's standards. Having overcome the painful past of losing my husband in a car accident and raising my daughter alone, these days felt like heaven. When I returned home, the aroma of coffee was already wafting from the kitchen. "Good morning, Mom." April greeted me with a beaming smile, preparing breakfast in her cheerleading uniform. Her thoughtfulness, remarkable for a 16-year-old, had saved me countless times. This morning time was our precious mother-daughter bonding moment. "Good morning. Morning practice today?" "Yes, we're practicing a new routine." "I see. Don't push yourself too hard." "I know. You too, Mom, don't work too hard." While exchanging casual conversation with my daughter, I hurried to take a shower and prepare for work. I had an important meeting with a high-profile client today. My reputation as a real estate agent handling Greenwich's luxury properties was growing year by year. On the living room wall hung a family photo taken during last year's Thanksgiving: April, myself, and my husband Michael. All three of us wearing natural smiles. My remarriage to Michael had been a turning point in my life. As a senior manager at an investment bank earning $500,000 a year, he provided us with a stable life. What was particularly impressive was Michael's passionate commitment to charitable activities. At a recent charity event, he had called for and achieved a $1 million donation to a children's hospital. The local paper covered it extensively, hailing him as Greenwich's pride. He was also recognized as an exemplary figure in the church community. April too was achieving remarkable success as a sophomore at West Hill High School. She consistently maintained top grades and served as captain of the cheerleading squad. She always played central roles in school events and was highly trusted by teachers. During weekend brunches with my mom friends, our family was always a topic of conversation. "Caroline, your family is truly ideal. April is a model student, and Michael is the perfect father. You're like a family straight out of a magazine." Such envious glances had become commonplace. The first crack in this seemingly perfect daily life appeared after spring break. April's behavior began to change gradually. She started missing cheerleading practice more often, frequently leaving early saying, "I'm not feeling well." My daughter, who had always worn short-sleeved uniforms, suddenly began favoring long-sleeved clothes. Though concerned about these changes, I was handling major real estate deals and didn't investigate further. Looking back now, I should have been more attentive to my daughter. Family conversations also diminished imperceptibly. During dinner, the once lively chatter disappeared, replaced only by talk about Michael's work or perfunctory discussions about school. April began retreating to her room early, saying, "I have homework," and started going out more on weekends, saying she was studying with friends. Despite these unsettling signs, I remained absorbed in my work. Greenwich's real estate market was booming, with major deals coming in one after another. Desperate to maintain my current life of social success, I had no room to focus on the changes at home. Then everything fell apart. One day in May, April didn't return from school. Her cell phone was turned off, and her friends said they didn't know where she was. While I desperately tried to contact her, Michael maintained an unnaturally calm demeanor beside me. "It's okay, Caroline. April will surely return soon. Maybe we don't need to report it to the police." Though something felt off about those words, thinking of my daughter's safety, I immediately contacted the police. My mind was filled with thoughts of my daughter, who had lost her father at age 10 and was now missing. The police began their investigation immediately. Detectives from Greenwich Police Department meticulously reviewed surveillance camera footage along the route from West Hill High School to our home. I sat in the cold chair at the police station, watching the same footage repeatedly. The last confirmed sighting of April was her leaving the school's main entrance. Her whereabouts after that were unknown. There are blind spots in the surveillance cameras. It's possible a car picked up your daughter in this section. She doesn't appear on the convenience store cameras near the school either, the detective lieutenant explained. We're canvassing the area, but so far there have been no decisive witness accounts. The detective's words tightened my chest. Michael sat quietly beside me, listening to the detective's report. Though I felt something was off about his overly calm attitude, I couldn't understand its significance. While my husband typically didn't show his emotions, this level of calmness in this situation seemed abnormal. There's no need to worry. Most missing persons cases at this age resolve themselves within a few days. They're often staying at a friend's house. When Michael placed his hand on my shoulder saying this, I felt an inexplicable chill run down my spine. Though these should have been comforting words from my mild-mannered husband, I sensed an oddly dismissive coldness. Even the warmth of his hand felt different from before. Parallel to the police investigation, I began calling for information on social media. With trembling fingers, I typed messages on my smartphone screen. I posted April's latest photo, a smiling picture taken after cheerleading practice, along with detailed descriptions of her height, weight, and the clothes she was wearing when she disappeared. I requested shares in Greenwich community groups and posted in neighboring area groups. The post spread rapidly, recording over 1,000 shares within hours. Many messages of concern and encouragement arrived. Though encouraged by the kind words from strangers, no decisive information emerged. As night fell, anxiety only grew. While I continuously refreshed my smartphone screen, Michael calmly watched the news beside me. The witness investigation also began in earnest. Police interviewed school friends, cheerleading teammates, and neighbors one after another. Everyone expressed concern, consistently saying things like, "April seemed a bit down recently, she started missing practice more often," and "she spent more time alone, lost in thought." The cheerleading coach spoke tearfully, "April is such a good girl. But recently, she started having this dark expression more often. Even when I spoke to her, she would just smile and say, 'I'm fine.'" Each time I heard such words, feelings of guilt welled up for not noticing as a mother. Caught up in work, I hadn't noticed my daughter's changes. Or perhaps I had noticed but avoided digging deeper. Day 2 of the investigation. No progress reports from police, and social media information requests yielded no results. Michael went to work as usual, saying, "Taking time off won't change anything. We can only leave it to the police." His attitude was far too abnormal for a father whose daughter was missing. When he left for work, his expression even seemed to show relief. At night, another call came from the police. They had been tracking April's cell phone location, but it remained powered off and couldn't be located. No additional surveillance camera footage was found, and there were no reliable witness accounts. The investigation had hit a wall. Then came the third night. Around 2 a.m., my cell phone rang. The blue-white light of the display pierced my eyes as I lay in bed, unable to sleep. The screen showed unknown number. I could hear my heart pounding. Hello? A moment of silence. Someone could be heard drawing a small breath on the other end. Then, a faint voice came through. Mom. That single word made my whole body tremble. It was unmistakably April's voice. But different from her usual bright tone, it was shaky and fearful, as if afraid of being overheard. April. Where are you? My voice echoed in the bedroom. Michael stirred beside me but showed no signs of waking. Rather, his breathing seemed oddly rigid, as if pretending to sleep. I'm sorry, but I can't come home. A sobbing voice. April's voice, weaker than I'd ever heard before, tore at my heart. In the background, I could hear cars passing somewhere in the distance. Why? What happened? Please tell me. Mom will definitely help you. There was a moment's hesitation at my desperate questioning. I could hear April draw a small breath on the other end of the receiver. And then. Michael. The moment I heard those words, the call cut off. Just before it ended, I thought I sensed someone's presence. April. I desperately called my daughter's name and tried redialing multiple times. But there was no response. That night, for the first time, I felt genuine suspicion toward Michael. As I watched my husband pretending to sleep beside me, I felt an unprecedented eeriness, and greeted dawn amid fear and anxiety. First thing the next morning, I reported the phone call to the police. The detective listened seriously but delivered a harsh conclusion. With just the call history from an unknown number, it's difficult to trace the location. We'll request cooperation from the phone company, but it will take time. The investigation still showed no progress. That day, I went to the school to explain the situation. While waiting in the staff room, I noticed the cheerleading squad's photo posted in the hallway. April smiling with her arms around her teammates. That photo now seemed painfully bright. There, I was approached by the counselor, Lisa Morrison. Caroline, could we talk for a moment? She wore a somewhat urgent expression. Led to an empty consultation room, I instinctively knew from Lisa's serious gaze that she had important information. Actually, there's something concerning about April's phone records. What Lisa showed me was data from my daughter remaining in the school's system. It revealed traces of Michael installing surveillance apps on April's phone. All calls, messages, and location information had been under surveillance. April's privacy had been completely violated. And Lisa paused as if choosing her words. There are things you should know about Michael's past. The documents she produced contained information about Michael's previous marriages. 2 divorces. And records showing that both were due to domestic violence. Though court records had been suppressed with money, support group records remained. I used to work for a domestic violence victim support organization. That's where I found Michael's name in the records. In my mind, all the previous feelings of unease began connecting one by one. April's behavioral changes. The long-sleeved clothes. Missing practice. Diminishing conversations. Michael's unnatural calmness. And that late-night phone call. Michael. It was the moment I understood the terrifyingly clear meaning of my daughter's last words. And simultaneously, my heart froze at the reality that even now, my daughter might be somewhere calling for help. The next morning, I was searching for clues in April's room from early dawn. Sitting at my daughter's desk, I turned on her computer. The desktop screen appeared unremarkable at first glance. However, using the special method Lisa had taught me to open hidden folders, I found April's secret diary. The encrypted file used the name of her favorite fairy tale character from childhood as its password. As the screen opened, my daughter's record of suffering appeared one after another. Each word stabbed at my heart like a knife. The daily records detailed my daughter's pain and fear in vivid detail. Her outings were restricted, and she was forced to return home immediately after school. The agony of being constantly demanded perfection, perfect grades, perfect behavior, everything. Her thoughts about me, who hadn't noticed, were frequently written. My heart aches every time I see Mom smile. Just when she finally found happiness, if I tell her this, it will destroy everything again. But I can't take it anymore. Help me. Mom. Tears blurred the screen. At that moment, Lisa contacted me. She wanted to share new information at the support center. In a room at the support center, Lisa began explaining the detailed circumstances. April first came for consultation 3 months ago. Ostensibly for career counseling. But after several conversations, the real problem became apparent. Lisa took out her tablet and showed me the evidence April had left. Photos of bruises on her arms. Multiple photos with dates. Michael's Jekyll and Hyde transformation captured on hidden cameras. Small cameras placed in hallways and on stairs had captured moments of abuse. Recordings of verbal abuse. Everything had been systematically documented. April was very careful in collecting evidence. She had also gradually prepared an escape location. We had secured a shelter in our support network, ready for her to flee at any time. However, there were reasons why she couldn't easily escape. Lisa explained 3 serious reasons why April couldn't contact me, her mother. First, Michael's perfect surveillance of communications. Her smartphone was under constant monitoring, with all emails and social media being checked. Even school computers were under watchful eyes. The only possible communication was through the counseling room's special line. Next, strong feelings of guilt about destroying your happiness. Mom finally got a happy life. I don't want to ruin it with my problems, April repeatedly said through tears. And finally, the most serious reason was revealed. Threats from Michael. If you tell your mother, I'll make her unhappy too. He apparently implied he would destroy your career using his investment banking connections. Furthermore, Lisa presented shocking investigation results about Michael's past. The thick file contained records of similar patterns in his previous marriages. He has 2 previous divorces. Both were wealthy single-mother households. He first acts as the ideal stepfather, then gradually begins control and abuse. The pattern was exactly the same. The file also contained copies of suppressed court records. Large settlement amounts. Receipts for hush money. Traces of manipulation in the courts. Everything was meticulously documented. He used money to cover up everything. Threatening victims, destroying evidence, falsifying records. Perfect methods. But in support group networks, accurate records remained. At that moment, Lisa's cell phone rang. She nodded seriously at the phone's contents while giving me a meaningful look. We've confirmed April's location. My heart leaped. She's being protected in a safe shelter. We're coordinating with the police. However, the location is strictly confidential. There's a possibility Michael's associates are watching. We immediately headed to the police station for a strategy meeting with the detective in charge. April's diary, the evidence Lisa had gathered, past cases. All the evidence pointed to one conclusion. With this much evidence, an arrest warrant is certain, the detective said firmly. Combined with April's testimony, we can take this to prosecution. Lisa also offered her expert opinion. Through the support group network, we're gathering testimonies from past victims. We can completely prove Michael's methods. Tomorrow, I would finally see my daughter. But before that, there was something I had to do. Return home and gather more evidence without Michael noticing. For the sake of others suffering the same abuse, these facts had to be brought to light. April's courage had given me the strength to take a new step. Reporters from local media gathered in the Greenwich Police Station's briefing room. The decision to make the case public was made considering the possibility of other victims. As afternoon sunlight streamed through the windows, reporters readied their pens en masse. Today, we have requested an arrest warrant for an investment bank senior manager on charges of abuse and confinement. The police chief's voice echoed through the silent briefing room. As camera flashes flickered, the case overview was revealed. Abuse by a stepfather in an upscale residential area. A public face and a private face. Cover-ups using money and power. All facts were disclosed in a matter-of-fact tone. While outwardly portraying himself as an exemplary citizen devoted to charitable activities, the suspect committed serious abuse at home. Furthermore, similar past cases have come to light, and suspicions of organized evidence destruction have also emerged. Reporters' pens moved in unison. Questions flew. The chief responded calmly, disclosing only necessary information. I watched from the back of the briefing room. I could almost see tomorrow's newspaper headlines. The true nature of a man known for his charitable activities and considered a community role model was about to be revealed. At the investigation headquarters, detectives continued piecing together new evidence. Surveillance camera footage. Communication records. Bank transaction histories. Michael's past behavioral patterns gradually came into focus. With this much evidence, a guilty verdict is certain, the detective in charge told me. It will be a long investigation, but we'll ensure he faces justice. When I returned home, Michael was waiting. The TV news was breaking the story at that very moment. The announcer's voice echoed through the quiet living room. Today, Greenwich Police announced a domestic abuse case involving a prominent investment banker. The scene of the police station briefing appeared on screen. Michael's expression no longer showed his usual calmness. I could see him trying desperately to control his trembling hands. "What have you done, Caroline?" A low, growling voice. His eyes held a dangerous light I'd never seen before. But I wasn't afraid anymore. Now that I knew of April's suffering, there was no need to fear. "What have I done? What have you done?" Suppressing my trembling voice, I questioned him. The words I had practiced many times came naturally. "Why did you hurt my daughter?" Michael's eyes wavered for just a moment. But they quickly returned to their cold gaze. There was now his true expression, no longer needing to keep up appearances. "Because you didn't notice. Even though I tried to create a perfect family." At those words, my anger exploded. Emotions I had suppressed for years burst forth all at once. "Your idea of perfect means control, doesn't it? Just like in your previous marriages." Controlling everything, and when things don't go your way, you resort to violence. I know everything, April's bruises, the surveillance, the threats, all of it. Michael's expression transformed. The mask of the elegant gentleman fell away, replaced by eyes like bottomless darkness. It was the moment his long-hidden true nature finally surfaced. "Shut up. What do you know?" The moment he lunged at me, the front door burst open. Several police officers entered with guns drawn. Michael looked around for an escape route for a moment, his eyes fixed like a cornered animal. Then he bolted for the backyard. But police officers were waiting there too. A complete dragnet had been laid. As handcuffs were placed on Michael, no dignity remained in his expression. No longer an investment bank senior manager or philanthropist. Only the true face of a violent controller remained. The police efficiently began searching the house. Computers, phones, documents. And from Michael's study, new evidence emerged one after another. Settlement papers with past victims. Records of hush money. Instructions for manipulating lawyers. Traces of what had seemed perfect cover-ups were all about to come to light. "This evidence is extremely important," an investigator told me. "We can prove connections to past cases as well." And finally, the long-awaited moment arrived. "Ma'am, it's over now," the investigator told me. "We're ready for you to reunite with your daughter." At those words, tears began flowing uncontrollably. The long nightmare that had begun with my remarriage 6 years ago was finally about to end. In the car heading to Lisa's house, my heart was pounding violently. Outside the window, the evening sky was beautifully stained with color. Driving through winding residential streets, we arrived at a modest house. The front door opened, and Lisa smiled gently. And behind her, "Mom." A faint voice. But undoubtedly April's voice. My beloved daughter's voice, heard for the first time in 6 days. I rushed forward and held my daughter tightly. Warm. A real presence. Large tears wouldn't stop flowing. April's body trembled slightly in my arms. "I'm sorry, Mom," April said through tears. "I ruined your happiness." "No," I answered while stroking my daughter's head. "I'm the one who should apologize. I'm sorry I didn't notice. But it's okay now. I'll never let anyone hurt you again." Lisa quietly watched this reunion from a distance. Without her guidance, this day might never have come. In my heart, I offered deep gratitude. Sitting face to face, we exchanged words for a long time. About the days of terror. About the feelings she had suppressed. About Michael's threats. And about what comes next. April continued talking, as if releasing everything she had held inside. "Let's look for a new house," I said while holding my daughter's hand. "We'll start a new life, just the two of us, wherever you'd like. We don't need to worry about anyone's eyes anymore." April nodded slightly. Though shadows of anxiety still remained in her expression, there was also definitely a light of hope. Her genuine smile, long suppressed, was gradually returning. "Lisa said she'll help with counseling," April said. "And I'm thinking of joining a group of people who've had similar experiences. Maybe my experience can help someone else." I nodded too. We still have many things to overcome. But we're not alone anymore. From now on, we'll solve them one by one, together. The evening light streaming through the window gently illuminated our new beginning. Finally emerging from the long darkness, we could stand in the light. There will surely be difficulties in the new life ahead. But never again will we need to fear anyone's control. While gently stroking my daughter's hair, I made a firm vow. From now on, we'll grasp true happiness, together. And to become hope for others suffering the same pain, we'll transform our experience into strength. A year has passed since then. Spring sunlight streams through the window of our new home in a quiet residential area a little distance from Greenwich. On the living room wall hung a new photo of April cheerleading. No longer needing long sleeves to hide bruises. Her smile had regained its former brightness. "Mom, can you check the materials for today's lecture?" At breakfast, April handed me some documents. She had recently begun speaking about her experiences in front of victims her own age. Though healing her wounded heart took time, through repeated counseling sessions, she developed a strong desire to use her experience to support others. Parallel to my real estate work, I established a victim support organization called New Dawn. With Lisa's cooperation, we're setting up systems to secure shelters for domestic violence and abuse victims and provide legal support. We hold regular consultation meetings on weekends, listening to many victims' voices. After graduating high school, April decided to pursue a career in psychological counseling. "I want to help people who can't speak up, like I was." Her determination is firm. Now she's preparing for university while beginning basic counseling studies. Michael's trial finally concluded last month. In court, past victims also took the witness stand one after another. People whose lives had been destroyed by his hands, who until now couldn't raise their voices, finally broke their silence. The defendant is sentenced to 20 years in prison. When the verdict was pronounced, silence fell over the courtroom. His position as an investment bank senior manager, his reputation as a philanthropist, everything fell to the ground. But simultaneously, it was the establishment of a new justice. We were able to show society that there are truths that money and power cannot conceal. After seeing the news about the verdict, I received messages from many people, April told me. Messages from people with similar experiences were arriving on social media. Words like, "Your courage gave us hope." Support activities are steadily expanding. Networks with other support organizations have been built, allowing us to extend help to more victims. April is particularly focused on supporting teenage victims. Being the same age allows for more empathy, and cases of them opening up are increasing. The girl who came to the last consultation meeting starts at her new school today, April reported happily. Seeing the people we've supported moving forward, even little by little, is now our greatest joy. Family can take many forms. We learned this through first-hand experience. Rather than pursuing superficial perfection, what's important is having relationships where we understand and support each other. "Hey, Mom," April snuggled next to me on the sofa at dusk. "We've gotten stronger, haven't we?" While gently stroking my daughter's hair, I answered, "Yes." But we became stronger because we realized we weren't alone. Outside the window, spring breeze rustled new leaves. The suffering we endured certainly left deep scars. But those scars are now becoming hope for others. The new story of our mother and daughter has only just begun. We'll keep moving forward, one step at a time. On the living room shelf, newspaper clippings reporting our support activities are carefully preserved. "Overcoming Abuse, a Mother and Daughter's Story of Rebirth." That headline seemed to speak of our new mission.